Hey guys, Willie here at The Great Outdoors. I'd like to talk with you for a moment about the phrase, never say never. That's right, that is a GoPro Hero 12. It is brand spanking new in the box. Haven't even taken it out yet. Terrified to be honest with you. Worried I'm going to break it. I think as long as you leave them in the box, they never technically break. They never overheat, they never lock up, they never have a black screen. They don't mess up your data. There's no corruptions. So just leave them in the box. Don't mess with them. Yeah, never say never. Never say never. It's one of those things where you have to ask yourself why. I said never, ever again, ever. But I did anyway. Reason for that. Did a lot of homework. Was on the computer. Was on the iPad. Was on YouTube. Was everywhere I went. I was trying to figure out what is the best camera for me. After my GoPro 7 got crushed after falling out of my Pelican box on the monkey, I knew then, obviously, I needed a replacement of some kind. I looked at DJI, I looked at Insta360, I looked at some cheaper brand names that I think Best Buy carried that fell into the $100 range. I could have easily bought one of those, but after looking at the picture and listening to the sound and stuff, I just didn't want to take that chance. And even though I know with the GoPro, I'm still taking that chance. But I'm taking that chance hoping that at some point now they've got their stuff together and I'll be able to use this 12 for a long time. Let's just cross our fingers and hope so. I have lots of content coming up where the monkey is involved, being outdoors is involved, on the water where this camera obviously can't go. Though yes, I got the newest and latest and greatest, the highest up the totem pole for this week anyway, that I could get. My wife and my kids for Christmas gave me a $100 Amazon gift card. Well, I automatically knew where that gift card was going. I just didn't know to which company it was going. So it ended up going to GoPro. Let's cross our fingers. Everybody out there say a little prayer and we'll hope that this will suffice for the next couple, 3 to 5 decades. Anyway, there you go. Now, on to our regularly scheduled, on to the stuff I was going to do before I did this. Mother Nature has sometimes such a cruel way of playing practical jokes. At least one day out of the weekend, it's been raining. We're actually, since we're kind of stuck with being inside, it's raining pretty good. We're going to head to another antique store. I'm going to see what I can find. I'm not going to drag you through that, but I'll see if I can find something that I find interesting, that you may find interesting, that we can disassemble, take apart, talk about, and put back together again, see that it works like it's supposed to, and maybe sometime in the very near future, take it out fishing. Take it with us camping. Throw it in a box on the monkey. Make sure that we latch it. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. Let's go see what we can do, see what we can find. We're back in the truck. Sometimes it's really good to go to these places after New Year's because they have a tendency to modify, change, move their stuff around. They see things in their booths, I guess you'd say, that has sat for a while, and they will put things on sale. So what happened was I've gone into this particular booth inside this antique mall here in Virginia Beach several times, and I've looked at one reel that's been in there for quite some time, and I just wasn't going to pay what he was asking. He wanted $35 for it, but today it was 30% off. And sometimes they do that to clear out and make room for new stuff, which worked to my benefit. What was 35 was now 24, and I picked up a Shakespeare 2062. Now the 2062 is a little bit bigger than what I normally like to deal with. The 2052 was a better size for me, but this is kind of in between. It is kind of hideous. It just needs some cleaning. And when I get home, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to take this thing apart and see what we can do with it, make it function. But I've been looking at that reel for a while, and I have turned away from it every time because I just thought 35 was just too high for it. But it's all there. It's just got some battle scars. Anyway, let's get on to the house, get this thing stripped apart, and see what we can do with it. All right, here we are back at the house. And we have our 2062, our filthy, nasty, dirty 2062. Shakespeare 2062. Now this one has model EF. Now E, why didn't I think of turning that off before I started this video? EF. E was 60 if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember what F came out to be, so I'm guessing 67? Would that be right? If it's an F, since the F is right next to it? Let's check and see. Let's take a look at our fancy dating code thingy mabob thing. Let's take a look here. I know I got it on here. Let's just find it. Come on now. Where are you? There you are. So E and F. Oh no, it's actually backwards. Did I say EF? EF. Okay, E is 60, definitely had that right. F is 5. 1965 for this 2062. Now let's remember, 1965 means it is the year that this particular design was made for this reel. Okay? Doesn't mean that that's what year it is unless the 2062 was only made 1 year. One of the problems that it has, now everything seems to work. Your anti-reverse switch works, but it's thick. It hardly wants to move. We're moving. Sounds like we're making coffee, but we're moving. This bail is really sticking. It's working, but it's sticking, and we really need that. That's sticking bad. Now I'm going to do this one a little bit different than I normally do. I'm going to work this reel in sections. First I'm going to take the spool and everything off, and then I'm going to take the I'm going to take the rotor off and all of that and bail. I'm going to work on that first before I take anything else apart. Just because, don't want pieces everywhere that may look like other pieces that belong to other spots and, you know, mess something up. Put something somewhere it don't belong and all that. So anyway, let's get you down here and we will commence to taking this top half of this 2062 1965 Shakespeare. Did I say that right? Yeah, 65. Definitely needs some cleaning. Plastic parts will go in here. That just slides right off. We have a drag washer there that looks like she has seen better days. Let's take this rubber drag washer out of here. Now it looks like that gear's one piece. The screws on this look like they're in pretty good shape. I don't think it's been apart a bunch of times, which is a good thing. Okay, well, we see we got some major cleaning to do here. That pin pulls right out. Drop that in there. It is obviously some form of steel because it's stuck into the magnetic bowl very easily. Then we have this little armature arm kind of thing, dropping crusty funk everywhere. Then we can pull this shaft out of there. Okay, let's see, if I'm going this way when I'm reeling, that should be tightening, so it should go backwards to come off. There we go. Woo! Man, I'm going to tell you that was scary. I thought for sure that's the end of her. We're going to break her. It's going to be over with. Okay, crank came off. Now, this gear should come up out of there, which it did. The crank gear came up out of there. Wow, what a mess. Okay, now this nut has one of those washers that you have to bend the tab over because it's got it locked in place. So we'll bend that tab over, then we can take that nut off. This should now come off. I say that should have come off. I'm just going to pull. And that's all it is. You just had to pull. The first thing that we're going to do, this is where my problem exists. And if I'm going to break something, I'm going to break this first. Does that come out? Oh, it does. Hey, this comes out. We don't want to lose this, so we're going to put this in here. Little tiny, I guess you can call it an acorn nut. It's a type of acorn nut. We have your braces from 1960 right there. I'm going to go clean this part up first before I take that out. I'm going to tell you, in all of my years of tearing reels apart, cleaning them, this one was the worst clean I have ever had the misfortune to have to have done. The grease was so hard. In some places it just flaked and broke off, and in other places it wasn't hard, but yet it was soft, still soft enough that it was stuck. And especially down inside the body here, it was just flathead screwdriver just scraping and cleaning. There's a bearing, as you see here. This is the bearing that it has, and it goes on this worm gear shaft here, pinion shaft gear, whatever you want to call it. It would not, it fits down in here and it would not come out. It took me forever to get that out of there. It was just an ornery, hard reel to work on. And even though if it were clean and in good shape, I don't think it would have been such a pain. But it was an absolute pain. I got all this broke loose. I'm going to put some oil. I should have probably already put some down in there. If you just loosen the screw, that'll give you enough room to get some oil down in here. So anyway, that's working good. You could fire a 22 bullet off of that if you wanted to. So anyway, we're going to start getting this thing put back together again. I got to kind of have to dry it off as I go. This bearing very well could be changed. It's not in the greatest of shape. I can only imagine the little ball bearings in there, what they look like, because it feels rough. Maybe one day I'll buy a new bearing for it, providing somebody else doesn't end up with the reel. As a matter of fact, I think Dan has my 2052. Let's put some grease down in there just in case. This reel has fought me every step of the way. Well, it went right in that way. Okay, but that's fine. That's good. That's fine. Whatever. I don't care. Just go back together. That's all I want. I had to make a pair of C-clip pliers because I don't have any. One side's in. Come on. There we go. That's how that goes in there. I'm just putting a little bit of oil kind of on everything to just help it out a little bit. Now, this reel, dang it, I did it again, has a little oil port on this side, this screw. There's a little tiny screw right there. So really, it kind of tells me that's not grease that you really want on the shaft, it's oil that you want on the shaft. So what I'm going to do is push that back up in there again for the 6,204th time. Alright, there she is back in there, the way she's supposed to be. This is going to go like that. And we got to put our little, this is the little screw that's got to go back in there. Going to put just a little oil. Let's just drop a little bit in there. That's good. Now, once I get the crank back on that, I will tighten that up. This is where our nut needs to go on. We'll make it a little smoother when we do it here. A little oil added. Flat side goes down. See, we bent that tab up. That tab keeps us from that nut coming loose. That out of there. Then our gear falls out in our hand, which is great. That's fine. That way we do know that it still functions like it's supposed to. There we go. She's back in there again. Now, slide that in there. Now we have to line our holes up here. There we go. Holes are lined up. Now we need our little pin. Our little pin goes here, passes through the hole there. Everything is good there. Now I'm going to tighten this. Remember, this is a reverse thread, so you're going to be tightening in the wrong direction. Alright, we're going to go ahead and put our cover on. All of our little screws here. Hey everyone, we are back. Not that you ever left, because I'm sure Evan edited this thing in a way that it just went boop, boop, and jumped right to the next thing. And here I am doing that thing I love doing so much. Now, in normal circumstances, I love doing this. I love to clean the fingerprints off and get the excess grease and oil off of here. And look at this awesome looking 2062 by Shakespeare with a 1965 date stamped on her. Normally, I'm happy about that. But unfortunately, this poor fella here, you saw the inside of it. A lot of the grease that was in it had crystallized. That's how bad it was. The bearing, now this is a single bearing reel, okay? And it's where the rotor spins, it's up there, right in there. You saw it when I put it back in there. I knew when I was spinning it, the bearing didn't sound very good. And what has just happened, it has sat for years and years and years and years with oil and grease in it. And the bearing, I believe, has decayed. I oiled it back up and loosened it up, but when I loosened it up and broke everything loose inside that thing, it basically now sounds like a bunch of marbles in an old metal Maxwell House coffee can rolling down the road. These reels don't normally sound that way. That's the way a reel sounds that has no bearing. This one having that bearing, it's just roaring away. I got the bail working right. That was fun. I will tell you this, if you do not have to take the bail spring out or off, don't. I fought with that for probably 35 or 40 minutes trying to get that thing back together again in here, inside of that. This reel is, it looks like somebody has tampered with the inside of it. I say that because the bail spring itself had marks on it like pliers or needle nose. It had scars in it where somebody has been bending it and moving it, trying to make it work, which I believe is why the bail didn't work, but I've got it to work. So it is a functioning reel now. It's just very loud. I mean, it's terrible. It's sad. I had a 2052 way back when, and Dan actually has that 2052 right now, and it is extremely smooth. I mean, it is just the nicest, smoothest thing. This one, not so much. So I think what I'll do at some point is probably try to find a bearing. It's funny, those bearings are very, very similar to skateboard wheels, skateboard bearings. And I'm very curious if they are the same diameter. I do have some of those around here because I used to be quite the skateboarder in my day. Now, I don't know what that means, in my day, because as long as you're alive and you're kicking, every day is your day, right? It's a day. So why do you have to go back and look at some time frame that you were better than you are now and call that your day? I don't get it. I just don't understand. That's old people stuff. But anyway, I'm an old people. I should understand that. Maybe my decoder ring just hasn't came in the mail yet. Anyway, 2062, we wound up getting him for $24. I'm glad I didn't spend the $35 that he wanted on it, because I would have been really upset with the way this thing is acting right now for the money that we would have paid. But this is something to remember, because if you're going to do this, if you're going to go out and find these things and you want to fish with them and buy them and fix them up, hey, not every one of them's a winner, okay? That's just how it goes. And you may end up having to buy parts to get something that you really like working and functioning correctly again. That's just how it goes. But hey, appreciate you guys watching, going along with me. Got the GoPro charging up right now. So I've got plenty of things I want to do, some fishing, some camping. I just can't wait. Take some reels out and go fishing. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. We'll see you on the next one, whatever the next one may be. Might be installing a bearing in a really sick sounding reel. That's just almost sounds like a siren. Like,